There's no doubt that Greta's words and the way she delivers her issue are terrifying and spine-tingling.
People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing.
Even someone like me, who's been demanding the kind of things she's asking for over a decade, feels incredibly guilty when I hear her speak, because I know that I too have contributed to this crisis. So it's understandable that we all feel a little uncomfortable when we hear her speak at the UN Climate Summit. But maybe, given the nature of the climate crisis, it's not so bad if we start to feel a little uncomfortable about it. Recently, we've seen Greta Thunberg come to prominence as a teen environmental activist.
My name is Greta Thunberg.
My name is Greta Thunberg.
My name is Greta Thunberg.
Greta has a really interesting story. About a year ago, she really felt the climate crisis weighing on her, and she started striking from school every Friday. She's talked before about feeling depressed over 4 years for other reasons, but also because of the climate crisis, and feeling isolated in her own passion for this issue. And I think what we've seen is that the power of social media has really given her a comfort in seeing that she's not alone, that there are lots of young people that feel the same way and have rallied behind her through these climate strikes. Greta's not actually the first teen activist that has spoken out on climate. About 27 years ago, a 12-year-old named Severn Suzuki spoke at the United Nations Earth Summit in Rio, which was the first big conference where all of the climate scientists came together and called for global action on the climate issue. And she was referred to as the girl who silenced the world for 5 minutes. So her words were very powerful and very well received on the global media stage.
We're a group of 12 and 13-year-olds trying to make a difference. We've raised all the money to come here ourselves, to come 5,000 miles to tell you adults you must change your ways.
And yet, 27 years later, we still find very similar words coming from Greta Thunberg and other youth activists.
How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight.
The writer and conservationist Terry Tempest Williams once wrote, "The eyes of the future are looking back at us, and they're praying for us to see beyond our own time." And the difference between Severn Suzuki 27 years ago and Greta Thunberg now is that Greta essentially is the voice of the future. In 40 to 80 years, if we don't act on climate change, the world will be much tougher to live in than it is today, and Greta's generation will be around to see that. So she's very much representing the young people's voice in all of this. In the past, we've talked about climate change as something that would affect our grandchildren or our great-grandchildren, but now it's very much something that will affect young generations today, and you can hear the anger in Greta's voice about that.
You are failing us. But the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you.
What I find most interesting is to see who's getting angry and vocal about what Greta has to say. It's not like she's trying to make money off this or peddle some kind of product. Her words are genuine and coming from a place of a young girl who is scared and concerned about the future that's ahead of her and her generation. And yet, she seems to be making so many people angry and receiving such criticism for what she says. Greta's not the first person who's spoken publicly about the climate issue and gotten world media attention. We have people like Al Gore and David Attenborough who have also put themselves out there and received criticism for being so vocal on this issue. But Greta is one of the first young people to really mobilize a generation of other young people to act on this issue. And that's something we should be grateful for, and we should be encouraging in our young people, that they speak truth to power and that they feel comfortable addressing the issues that concern them and pushing the older generations to act and be more engaged in the issue.